Did you know that just moving to a new apartment across town or tossing out a piece of official mail because you thought it was junk could literally lock you out of voting on Election Day? It's true. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to completely empower you to navigate Delaware's election process with total confidence. I am so glad you're here right now because we're tackling something that is absolutely fundamental yet surprisingly overlooked: your voter registration status. So let me ask you, are you truly ready for Election Day in Delaware? Now, you might be thinking, hey, I registered years ago, I'm totally good to go. But here's the thing. Election rolls are dynamic. People move, names change, and election rules are strictly enforced. Imagine doing all your research, showing up at the polls on Election Day, and finding out you weren't on the list. And worse, you can't fix it right then and there. It honestly happens way more often than you'd think, but it absolutely doesn't have to happen to you. Okay, here is our roadmap for today's Explainer. We're going to cover 1. Why checking your status matters. 2. A step-by-step verification guide. 3. Decoding your registration status. 4. How to update your information. 5. Voter resources and support. And finally, 6. How to be a prepared voter. Let's jump right into part 1. Why checking your status matters. Here is the absolute most crucial point you need to know. 0. Delaware does not permit same-day voter registration for state primary or general elections. Let me say that one more time because it's a massive pitfall for so many people. You cannot just show up to the polls, register, and vote on the exact same day. Advanced preparation is totally non-negotiable. If you miss those statutory deadlines, you literally miss your chance to vote. It really is that simple. All right, part 2, our step-by-step verification guide. Let's look at exactly how you can check your status online right this second. It's actually surprisingly easy, and it's something you can do right from your smartphone. The Delaware Department of Elections has made this incredibly simple. Step 1, you just navigate to ivote.de.gov, which is the official state portal. Step 2, you don't even need to remember a complicated password. Just type in your first name, your last name, and your date of birth. Step 3, hit search. The system talks to Delaware's centralized database in real time and immediately pulls up your official record. Moving on to part 3, decoding your registration status. So once you hit search, the system is going to spit out a result, and you might see a few different terms. Let's unpack exactly what they mean so you don't stress out if something looks a little weird. There is a huge difference between active and inactive. If you see active status, congratulations, you're good to go. Quick side note, if you requested permanent absentee voting for an illness or disability, your status might say indefinite. That just means you're actively enrolled to get absentee ballots automatically. But what if you see inactive status? Do not panic. Inactive does not mean you're disqualified. It usually just means the Department of Elections tried to send you some mail, like a polling card, and it bounced back, or they flagged you for a potential move. You are still completely eligible to vote. You just have some minor administrative housekeeping to do, like verifying your address under oath at the polling place, or even better, just updating your address ahead of time. Now, if you see not found, that means the database couldn't locate you. This could literally just be a typo when you typed your name in, so definitely try again. But it might also mean you were never actually registered or you were removed. Under Delaware law, if you sit on inactive status and don't vote or contact election officials through 2 consecutive federal general elections, they cancel your registration. If you're genuinely not found, you've got to register from scratch. Which brings us nicely to part 4, how to update your information. Let's talk about how to keep your record perfectly current and fix any common mistakes. If your address is outdated or your name changed, you can update the whole thing directly on ivoteday.gov. You will need a valid Delaware driver's license or state ID to authorize it online, since the portal uses the signature you already have on file with the DMV. Also, listen up because this is huge. Delaware has what are called closed primaries. This is a massive trap for new voters. If your record says no party or unaffiliated, you cannot vote in a Democratic or Republican primary, period. You have to be officially registered with that specific party. So if you want to say in who actually makes it onto the general election ballot, you have to update your party affiliation, and you have to do it early. Now, there is one pretty cool exception to that party affiliation rule, and it involves a brilliant system called automatic voter registration, or AVR. Delaware was actually one of the first states to fully implement this. Basically, when you get a new driver's license or ID at the DMV, they automatically fire your verified info over to the Department of Elections to register you, unless you specifically opt out. If you get registered this way, you're initially listed as no party AVR. Because of that specific label, you get a special grace period, meaning you can actually choose your political party right up through the day of your very first primary election. But for everybody else, you absolutely must keep these strict statutory deadlines on your radar. Want to change your party for a presidential primary? You have to do it 60 days before the election. For the September state primary, you've got to change your party by the Friday before the last Saturday in May. That is more than 3 months ahead of time. And for standard everyday registration, the ultimate cutoff is the 4th Saturday before any primary or general election. If you miss that 4th Saturday deadline, you can't vote. Let's look at Part 5, Voter Resources and Support. There really is help out there for every kind of voter. If you run into a tech issue online or if you have a unique living situation, Delaware has robust support systems. You are definitely not in this alone. For our active military members, their families, and citizens living overseas, you are covered by UOC-AVA. That's the federal act protecting your right to vote absentee. The big takeaway here is the Federal Postcard Application, or FPCA. You should submit a fresh FPCA through fvap.gov every single January, and honestly, every time you move. That guarantees your ballot finds you no matter where in the world you are deployed. By law, states have to send those ballots out 45 days before the election. And hey, if you're 30 days out and that ballot still hasn't arrived, you can use a federal write-in absentee ballot, an FWAB, as a perfectly safe backup. For our local viewers, maybe you try the website and it glitches out, or maybe you just really prefer talking to a real human being. Don't sweat it. You can call your specific county's Department of Elections office directly. They are incredibly helpful. They can verify your status over the phone, they can help you fix errors, or they can even just mail you a physical paper registration form if you'd rather go old school. It is literally their job to help you get registered, so please, use them. Finally, wrapping up with Part 6, Be a Prepared Voter. The main thing I want you to take away from everything we've talked about today is the immense sense of empowerment that comes from just being prepared. But before we finish, I have to give a quick but super important disclaimer. While all the information in this explainer is accurate right now, drawn straight from current Delaware election policies and the Federal Voting Assistance Program, election laws and administrative procedures can and do change. Your absolute best, most authoritative resource is always going to be the official state portal at ivote.de.gov and the Delaware Department of Elections. So I'm going to leave you with a question. Have you actually checked your status at ivote.dh.gov yet? It seriously takes 2 minutes. Go do it the second this explainer ends. And once you know your own status is locked in, think about your friends, your family, your coworkers. Who are you going to share this explainer with to make sure they don't accidentally miss that critical 4th Saturday deadline? Empower your community. Make absolutely sure your voice is heard and be ready for Election Day. Thanks so much for learning with us today.